history, part of the reason we went to war is that people lack freedom of speech. So certain group of people felt marginalized. They say we're going to war because we can have a safe space. As a peace building form over the course of time, we have enjoyed your investment. We have implemented your investment. For the first time, we have solar panel through this initiative has helped us to have a civil conversation, a focus-driven conversation, economic empowerment conversation, and to have different line of conversation that focuses on peace and security as a country. With your line of support and all partners involved, the Bob Before Boys, the African Youth Fellowship, Nigerian digital transformation that is being
when I wasn't even a politician. The first bus that LU, the University of Liberia, used, I bought it. But Liberia, since 1847, the first bus that LU received, I was playing for Monaco. I offered them that bus. I came to be president, we offered them buses. Now, how you treat the bus that it didn't last long, then it's an issue. So if LU or the university doesn't have a bus, what are the principals? What are the leaders of the university? Are you going to blame some or somebody that was at the head of the government? But it was provided already. We gave you the buses. I gave you a shirt, and in 2 days you throw it away, and you ask him why. So we have to be responsible here, because all these things is important, and that's why we attack each other for nothing.
Look, everybody will remember that in 2010, I signed something that says the independence of freedom of speech. Now, yes, freedom of speech carries with it certain responsibility of being able to protect the rights of others. But I don't think that one should be overly disturbed if people say things that are not really that are not really um, pleasure to individuals, particularly to leaders. And I certainly do not think it would be a reason for anyone to bear penalties, for freedom of speech. So I believe that in this particular case, there'll be many other ways to curb those who might get involved in sensational discussion, sensational expressions of other people. There are other ways to curb that. Yeah, but one should also observe that one has a right to say things in our country, or in any country. Mm-hmm. That's what, then the freedom of the press is something we must respect, because that's what makes good governance. That's what makes a country credible. That what makes a country advance with the support of others. This city is filthy.
The city is filthy.
It's dirty. I drive through it from time to time, and I'm ashamed. And frankly, more and more we are inviting international bodies to have meetings here, to join us in our national effort for the improvement of our country. And when they drive through our cities, they must leave from here and say so much terrible things about them. If the mayor were acting properly, instead of putting posters all over the country, you can't even see anything for all these big posters. We need to do something about cleaning the city. But it does more than just creating part-time jobs for them. It has to do with also responsibility of citizens. You can't just throw dirt around everywhere. For those who just have these structures that they build on the sidewalks and things, they need to be told how. They have the responsibility to help clean it up. And so that's something that I think we all must be concerned about. We can do much better.
And good governance. There's always a place where the law has checked or stopped. My take is for the respect for the rule of law. Look, Article 38 of the Constitution says each house shall adopt its own rules of procedure, enforce order, and with the concurrence of 2/3 of the entire membership, may expel a member for cause. Each house shall establish its own committees and subcommittees, provided, however, here is where I want to emphasize. All rules adopted by the legislature shall conform to the requirements of due process laid down in this Constitution. That all rules adopted by the legislature shall conform to the requirements of due process laid down in this Constitution. And say due process laid down in each house rule. Each house don't have their own due process. What would determine that? But in my mundane view, no. Due process was not accorded. Let me make it clear. I'm not here in defense of Yeke. The only thing I won't do, I got no moral standing to criticize Yeke for causing us. Because when Yeke was causing other people, we rewarded him with re-election. I got no moral standing. I didn't carry to all one India. But to deal with Yeke or anybody in the legislature, any lawmaker, rely that Article 38 that you rely on to do your own rule and enforce order, it gives you a consequential guidance. You must do it in keeping with due process. That is the due process that you determine, that the due process laid down in this Constitution. That's what Article.
I can't make it. We got fighting forces here beside the army. I can't cause of me. I can't make it. We got fighting forces here beside the army. I can't cause of me. 2-3 persons can cross in the morning to capture one whole city in some country. Yeah, yeah. It happens.
I would donate wherever the salary is for the president. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's public. But wherever it's there, I will make it public and I would donate it to some charity.
You will not take a salary?
I will not take a salary.
Cummins, you on record?
I'm on record. I've been on record.
You will not take your salary as president?
I will not take my salary as president of Liberia. I will make it public where that salary is, and I will make it public where I was going to donate it to.
Years. So let me say, who was Snow before coming to elected position or to public office? So Snow is somebody who has always survived on the coverage of the Liberian people. Let me say this to you. It behooves me that Snow is at ECOWAS. It behooves me. To see a man who is at ECOWAS, I expect him to be a man of high understanding, of high argument, a man of peace. To take your president, your nation is having a confrontation with their neighbor, and take your president and put him in a military brigadier and put arm in his hand when he's on his way to another country for peace mission. You think it's a normal person who does that? You think so? No, I'm asking you, you think it's a normal person who does that? It is not normal. So I don't want to get relevant to the Snow. All I can say to you, my man, don't bring Snow issue to my discussion. It's not relevant to me. So the Snow is not relevant to me. I'm just saying to you, Snow is not relevant to me. He's entitled to his opinion. I'm saying to you, I don't think to be ashamed of the future. He has survived the detriment of the Liberian people cover for the past 20 years.
Our grounds that he responded to your issues on Representative Koroba. You say they hosted that he respected the House by calling your actions.
So let me say this to you. We had two separate and independent chambers. Everyone.
When I wasn't even a politician, the first boss that LU, the University of Liberia, used, I bought it. But Liberia, since 1847, the first boss that LU received, I was playing for Monaco. I offered them that boss. I came to be president, we offered them bosses. Now, how you treat the boss that it didn't last long, then it's an issue. So if LU or the university doesn't have a boss, what are the principals? What are the leaders of the university? Are you going to blame some or somebody that was at the head of the government? But it was provided already. We gave you the bosses. I gave you a shirt, and in 2 days you throw it away, and you ask him why. So we have to be responsible here, because all these things is important, and that's why we attack each other for nothing.
Okay. Good morning. Wherever you are and whatever you are doing, I'd like to welcome you to yet another fascinating edition of the Today Show right here on Spawn 107.5. We're also live on Fabric 101.1, Super TV, Spawn TV, and Fabric TV. We're streaming live via our YouTube channel at Spawn Talk, so you can catch us up on any of these platforms, and of course you can listen or watch the show live this morning. It's 11 minutes flipping 8 o'clock. That's the initial time checked here in Monrovia, Liberia, specifically in oldest Congo town where we are situated. Once more, I'd like to say good morning, welcome. If you're in Monrovia, if you're outside Monrovia, if you are watching us outside Liberia, well, I would like to say welcome and let's have a wonderful time together. This is your most preferred breakfast program. And of course, my name is Yekezi Zwobel. What do we have lined up this morning for you? We bring you some international developments first off, and then touch on a little bit of local trending developments. Hope to cut across Liberia to speak with some of our correspondents to know what's happening in the various counties. At 9 o'clock, we play host to the political leader of LANU, Dr. Clarence Molibai is going to be our guest at 9 o'clock, and he will be here to tell us more about the party, even though it's not a new party. It's the party that participated in the previous election in our country, the presidential race. And would be also, asking him for his perspectives or his viewpoint on some of the trending national happenings in our country. So wherever you are and whatever you are doing, folks, let's have a wonderful time together. In between time, we will open the line so that you call in and make your contributions towards the show. And I hope to be joined by Sylvester Wowie later on. So once more, This is the Today Show. Keep the dial set. Let's have a wonderful time together. We'll take this very short break to be back.
I can't make it. We got fighting forces here beside the army. I can cause only 2-3 persons can cross in the morning to capture one whole city in some country. Yeah. It happened.
Okay, a pleasant welcome back. This is the Today Show right here on Spawn 107.5. Let's try to recognize some of those watching us live this morning on Spawn TV. George Brown Jr. is following the show from Sano County District number 2 Government Camp. Thanks for following. Jackson Moore Dumoy is following the show from Congo Town. Thanks for following, Jackson. Nikili Aramoba is watching from Maggie County. Thanks for watching. Zuana Kaman is watching from Logan Town. Thanks for watching, Zuana. Jonathan Swain is following from Buchanan City. Thanks for following. Ambassador William C. Taylor is following from his Burraville residence. Thanks for following this morning. Roland Juti is following the show as well. Josiah is following the show this morning. Josiah Tia is following the show. Josiah, thanks for following as well. Abraham Willie is following the show from Bangabon County. Achi SM Flomo Senior is following the show from Bon County as well. Kosa James is following from Ban City Zoge District, all the way there in Nimba County. Darwin is following the show. Thanks for following. Docas Suar is following the show. Docas, thanks for following the show. Setu B. Dabo is following this morning. Setu, thanks for following. Joseph Watson is also following. James Favor Banning is following the show. Hine Theophilus is following the show. George Watkins Jr. is following the show. And good morning to all of you following the Today Show here on this beautiful Tuesday morning. Stephen Maverick Elsa is following the show as well. Momo M. Yasia is following the show from Grand Cape Mount County. Thanks for following the show. Okay, so folks, let's go into it. Our proverb this morning says, and this proverb is a controversial proverb. Is a controversial one because it's something that was just stated by the president. I mean, not the exact words, but I mean, they have the same meaning. So our proverb says, "He who focuses on the road reaches the village. He who listens to every noise or voice gets lost." That's our proverb this morning. So he who focuses on the road reaches the village. If you are heading to the village and you focus on the road, you will definitely reach to the village. But if you listen to every voice, maybe the birds, the sound of the birds, the sounds of cracks, of animals around that particular area, once you continue to listen to them and pay attention or give them attention, definitely you're not going to reach your destination. You're not going to reach that village. You will not reach there. And that is our proverb this morning. And what does, I mean, it's very clear. It's not difficult to understand. So it means you have to keep your eyes on the road. You have to keep your eyes on the road. If you're heading to a particular destination, you have to keep your eye on that particular destination, not on the roadside. Okay? Not giving attention to the noise in the bush or wherever the noise is. Maybe that role is, you know, is a basic role. You don't want to listen to the horns of the vehicles, of the, you know, motorcycles, of the tricycles along that road. Because if you give them attention, if you pay more attention to them, you will not reach that destination. And I believe that is exactly what the President Joseph Yuma Boaka meant when he made the statement recently that when you are heading somewhere, you know, you don't have to pay attention to, you know, the dogs that are back. I'm not quoting him, you know, directly, but I think that is what that statement implies. And it is a statement that has been, it's a proverb that has been politicized. You know, it's been politicized. But what we do forget to know is that a proverb is a short, popular saying that gives advice, that gives wisdom, or a general truth based on experience. So sometimes a proverb doesn't literally mean what it says. The meaning of some proverbs aren't literal. You have to explain them before you get to know. But unfortunately, because our country is highly politically charged, when the president made that, you know, a proverb, when he made that statement, the other time, I mean, it's something that a lot of people are finding out. But I think that was a proverb. That was a proverb, and the simple explanation of that is that you have to keep your eyes on the road, not on the roadside noise. You know, great journeys require ignoring small disturbances. All right. And in other words, focus is the price of progress. Focus is the price of progress. So that's our proverb here this morning. And let's move on to bring you some international developments. Now, this one is from the BBC, and it says Nigeria plans to repatriate nationals willing to leave South Africa after attacks. And let me just ping this picture very quickly about this story. Okay, yeah. So it is from the BBC, and it says Nigeria. Let me get it right here. Nigeria plans to repatriate nationals willing to leave South Africa after attacks. So he says Nigeria is planning to repatriate its nationals in South Africa willing to return home voluntarily amid growing fears that recent attacks on foreigners there could escalate. Foreign Minister Bianca Ojukwu said 130 applicants had already registered for the exercise, adding that the number was expected to rise. She expressed President Bola Tinubu's concern about the attacks in the southern African nation and condemned the violence against foreign nationals and demonstrations characterized by xenophobic rhetoric, hate speeches, and incendiary anti-migrant statements. Nigeria has summoned South Africa's acting High Commissioner over the issue. Nigeria will formally conveyed its profound concern at a meeting later on Monday over the incidents in South Africa, saying they could affect existing relations between the countries, according to a foreign ministry statement. So the meeting will focus on recent marches held by anti-immigrant groups and documented instances of mistreatment of Nigerian citizens and attacks on their businesses, it says. On Sunday, Nigeria's foreign minister said Nigerian lives and businesses in South Africa must not continue to be put at risk, and we remain committed to working to explore with South Africa ways to put an end to this. All right. So that's one of our foreign developments coming there from Nigeria. So in short, what does that mean? Nigeria as a country is worried about its citizens living in South Africa because some foreigners there are being attacked and treated badly. And most of them are said to be Nigerians. So because of this, Nigeria is planning to help any of its people, any of its citizens there in South Africa who want to come back, who want to go back to Nigeria safely. So far, according to the report, about 130 Nigerians have already signed up to return to Nigeria. So the Nigerian government has said that it is very concerned and is angry about the violence and unfair treatment of foreigners, especially Nigerians there in South Africa. And they are also talking to South African leaders to try to solve the problem peacefully. So some Nigerians in South Africa are saying that they are scared, and many are even closing their business because they do not feel safe. Yeah, and the problem is going on because some people in South Africa, some South Africans believe foreigners are taking their jobs or doing illegal things. And this has led to protests and anger by South Africans there in South Africa against foreigners, against Nigerians, and against other, Africans that are residing there in Nigeria. But many other people say that immigrants are just trying to work and survive like everyone else there in South Africa. But the South African government has said it does not support the violence, but also it has reminded foreigners to follow the country's laws. So in a very simple term, Nigeria is helping its citizens to leave South Africa safely because of the violence there. It's termed as xenophobia, fear for foreigners and all of that. So that's, one of our foreign developments. Let's move on to this one that says, okay, just bear with me a bit. Let's get to this foreign development from Mali. And it's captured. The headline says Mali junta leader names himself defense minister after predecessor killed. And the leader of the country, after the head of the army died, the leader of the country has declared himself as the leader, the head of the army. And we will go into that. Let's just try to bring to the picture of this leader that we are talking about here. Okay. So now, let's go into this development. It says Mali's military leader, General Assimi Goïta, has taken over as defense minister after the officer who previously held the post was killed in a wave of surprise attacks. The West African country remains in a security crisis more than a week after an alliance of jihadis and separatist rebels launched their nationwide raids. During the defense during the offensive, Defense Minister Sadio Kimera was killed in an apparent suicide truck bombing on his residence near the capital Bamako. A decree read on state television on Monday said Gotta would replace Kimera as defense minister. He will be assisted by Army Chief of Staff General Oman Diarra, who has been appointed minister delegate. Gotta's decision to simultaneously lead the presidency and the defense ministry is likely to be interpreted as an attempt to consolidate power at a time when his authority appears to be threatened. On 25 April, residents in cities and towns across Mali woke to gunfire and an explosion as an alliance of two groups, the separatist Azawa Liberation Front and the Al-Qaeda-linked JNIM, launched coordinated attacks. The insurgents have since imposed a partial blockade on Bamako and other cities. Yeah, so that's the news coming there from Mali. So the country is right now, having serious fighting and insecurity. Some armed groups attacked many places in the country at the same time, and these groups are factors who are trying to take control of land and challenge the government or to topple or overthrow the government. And because of this, there has been a lot of violence, explosions, and fear in many areas there in Mali. And during this crisis, the defense minister, Mali's defense minister, that is, the defense minister is the person in charge, of the army as well there in Mali. So Sadio Kimera died, during these explosions, this violence. He died, after his house was attacked in a huge explosion. And after that, the Mali's military leader, General Assimi Goïta, decided to take over the job of defense minister himself, even though he's the president of the country. But after his defense minister, Kimera, died, he declared himself as leader of the army. So he's taking over the job of defense minister while still being the country's president. And this means he's now holding two very, very powerful positions at the same time. And the government also says that some soldiers may have helped the attackers, and they have arrested some of them for investigation. And Mali is also working with nearby countries to fight these armed groups. They are using their armies and aircrafts. But even with the help, the fighting is still going on. It's still intense, and many areas are not fully safe or under government control. So, in a simple term, Mali is going through a dangerous conflict, and the defense minister died in that conflict, and the country's leader has taken more control to try to handle the crisis. So yeah, that's it on the foreign front. So next up, we come locally, and in our local training news, there are some very interesting developments from the Liberia National Police. So firstly, let me read this release from the Liberia National Police. And it says, LNP issues correction on previously published global ranking information. And let me try to get hold of that global ranking information. I can remember we published it. We published that press release from the LNP a day or two ago. So let me get hold of this. Okay, that was okay. No, this is not it. Just bear with me a little bit. Let me get hold of this. And this is it. This is it. So let me read the first statement that came from the LNP. All right. So almost a day now almost a day ago, because it was 19 hours ago when we published this after the LNP, posted it on their social media account. So, the headline here says, Liberia National Police gains global recognition in International Police Index. That was a breaking news. And guess what? When we posted this on the Spoon page, it got about 1,500 comments. Everybody commending, the Inspector General of the Liberian National Police, Gregory Koma, for the job well done, in putting the police in raising, the standards of the police in bringing about such, international recognition, to the security apparatus, especially specifically the Liberian National Police. And we were all happy, quite frankly. And the information was trusted. But a few days ago, in my information is that after some journalists caught up the spokesperson of the Liberian National Police to inquire about this information, after they have done their research, they called the spokesperson of the Liberian National Police to query him, to question him about where they got this information from, that the information is incorrect, is not true. That is when they went on further. The LNP went further to do more investigation to reconcile or to correct the previous information they have released, and they came to the realization that the information that they released previously, that was a lie. That was not true. That was a lie. I've been joined by Sylvester Wowie. So Sylvester, you want to try to log in. The link is there. So just try to log in. And I can bring you on. Folks, at 9 o'clock this morning, we are playing host to LANU political leader, Dr. Clarence Moliba. He's going to be our guest here at 9 o'clock. Yeah, so Dr. Clarence Moliba will be our guest here at 9 o'clock this morning. Let's try to read you this statement from the Liberia National Police as we await our guest at 9 o'clock. Okay, so here is it. The police posted and said the Liberian National Police has achieved significant international recognition, earning a notable position in the 2026 World Internal Security and Police Index. According to the latest report, the LNP is ranked 10th best police institution in Africa and 70th globally, reflecting steady progress in institutional reform and service delivery. You hear that? So the police is announcing to us that it has achieved, based on the World Internal Security and Police Index, that the Liberian National Police has achieved significant international recognition in 2026. Let's continue with the report, with the release. So it says, according to the latest report, the LNP is ranked the 10th best, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we've passed that, reflecting steady progress in institutional reform and service delivery. Yeah, we read that already. This latest ranking marks a substantial improvement from the 2017-2018 WISPI assessment, where the LNP was positioned 16th in Africa and 106 out of 127 countries worldwide. The advancement highlights ongoing efforts to strengthen operational capacity, enhance effectiveness, and build public trust. The WISPI evaluates police organizations based on key indicators, including capacity, effectiveness, legitimacy, and outcomes, providing a comprehensive measure of how well institutions ensure internal security. Liberia's upward movement in the rankings underscores the country's continued commitment to post-conflict recovery and security sector reform. In addition to its domestic progress, the LNP has also received recognition for its contributions to international peacekeeping operations, particularly through deployments to South Sudan, where Liberian officers have demonstrated professionalism and dedication in support of global peace and stability, and blah, 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 blah. So yeah, the police a few days ago released this statement. But just today, just this morning, they retracted their own statement and they say, oh, we lied to you. That thing we tell you, say, the Liberian National Police now achieve, huge international recognition for a notable position in the 2026 World Internal Security Police Index. That thing that we told to you, the lie. We lied to you. We didn't do proper research, and the publication of the communication, it didn't pass through, they require protocols and blah, blah, blah. And so we published false information to you. We lied to you, essentially. That's what the police said. That the LNP has not been ranked as the 10th best police institution in Africa and the 70th globally or in the world. That whole information I will give you up first as, an institution, the Liberian National Police. That whole information, the blah. We just want to issue on y'all. But we later on realized that the information is not true. The information is incorrect. Let me read the statement, the release retracting their own statement. Okay, so it says LNP issues correction on previously published global ranking information. Let me see if Sylvester is now logged in. So once he's set, we will bring him on. Let's just put this down now. Now, let me read the LNP statement. Okay, it says LNP issues correction on previously published global ranking information. It says the Liberian National Police has recalled and withdrawn a recent publication claiming that the LNP was ranked 10th in Africa and 70th globally in the 2026 World Internal Security and Police Index. An internal review has established that the information was derived from an unverified and misinterpreted source, and that established communication protocols were not followed. A review of the referenced source confirmed that the Global Peace Index ranks countries based on overall levels of peacefulness and does not assess or rank police institutions. The position assigned to Liberia reflects the country's standing on national peace indicators, not the performance or ranking of the Liberian National Police. Hey, man. Yeah. It's also matter when they read without comprehension. They did research without comprehension. And then when they rush and they publish because they want to portray a good image, a positive image of the Liberian National Police out there. Not just that, because they want their bosses to know that they are actually working. They are actually working. And I don't know what is the protocol when it comes to publication of information at the Liberian National Police. Yes, we have the spokesperson of the Liberian National Police, Sam Collins. He's the head of the communication department there. But before communication or press releases can be published, I think it has to meet the approval of the head of the institution, the Inspector General of the Liberian National Police. Was the Inspector General of the Liberian National Police involved with this? Did he approve the communication that Sam Collins published on the LNP, page? Did he approve it? And if he approved it, why was it published? Why they failed to do due diligence? And I want to believe, and I'm assuming here that the Inspector General never, approve of that thing, and he never approve of that thing. The relevant authority that's supposed to have approved of it, they did not do so. But in Liberia, our body politics, our governance system, is overwhelmed by a lot of sycophants, plenty sycophants. They want to please their bosses. They want to, please their audience, the citizens, even if they are not doing the right thing, they want to act like they're doing the right thing. And so when it comes to, researching such information, when it came across such information, they didn't sit down, to actually verify, to know the source, to know the essence, to know the aim, to know the objective and everything. They just ran with it and they publish it. Only at the end of the day to come say we retract. And that is very shameful. Very, very shameful. I know, somebody will say, nobody is infallible. Everybody makes mistakes. But these are common errors, common errors not to be made. Common errors. Especially so, National Police, Liberian National Police. This statement is not coming from the detachment of the Liberian National Police in Zozo. It's not coming from the detachment of the Liberian National Police in Petro, in Zogowi, but it's coming from the headquarters, the headquarters, the people who are regulating, our security affairs, our police affairs in this country. It came from there. Yes, we agree that y'all can make errors. People make errors. Institutions make errors. But that was a very, very common error to make. As a matter of fact, you should know, as a security institution, at about this time, whether or not that ranking, applies to police capacity, effectiveness, and everything. You should know. Or whether it applies to national harmony or national peacefulness. You should know at about this time as a security institution. You should know. But somebody wanted to appease their boss, and somebody wanted to appease the public, and somebody wanted to show to the opposition, maybe wanted to show to the opposition that, hey, the Liberian National Police, the Unity Party administration, the Inspector General Gregory Coleman is working, and they have been, they have achieved a very significant international ranking, as the 10th best performing, police institution in Africa, and 70th in the world. That's what somebody wanted to show. But at the end of the day, it's almost what? It turned the opposite. Yeah, but that's it. I hope next time the Huni made such mistake, and now y'all put your whole your protocol, your communication protocol together, that before a press statement is released, is approved, is verified, and everything that you say is true. Because when you start to make these retraction, these withdrawals, refuting what you yourself came out to say, what you yourself published, and the public have already consumed and believed. You come by, you say, oh, they didn't author. It not true. It undermines your credibility. It undermines your credibility. The next time you come in all with information of such, especially information of such nature, the public will not give it much audience, much credence, in fact. Only giving much credence. It was, I hope they think y'all can't talk again. I hope that you, y'all thought the first one the other time. Y'all came by, y'all say la. Y'all came by, y'all own thing y'all talk. Y'all say la. So I hope the other one that y'all coming talk, that you're talking, even if it is verified, even if it is true, much credence will not be given to that. So LMP, I hope you can work on that the next time. I've been joined by Sylvester Warrior on the show. Sylvester, good morning and welcome. How are you?
Good morning to you, and good morning to our audience following us this morning.
You have to address the camera.
Sure, I will have to do so.
Okay, welcome to the show. How was the night?
Grateful, as usual. I see how energetic you are this morning discussing national issues, most especially relating to a recent release from the Liberia National Police. And like you regularly put it, the police have come up to announce to the public that the recent statement released by the RNP is incorrect. But what it's going to do, the next time the police come up with such an important information, there's going to be too many doubts. They say they are working on their information system. I don't know since when they're going to realize that, yes, there are lapses in the information setup they got at the RNP, and to come up with such an information that was meant to boost the police morale later turned out to be a fake news. The police is now going to be a reporter of fake news going forward, so they have to be very mindful how to put up information. And I think one of the reasons the police had to rush this information is due to recent condemnation from the public, especially those in the opposition, where the police has been branded as a partisan police. Some politicians in the country are calling for the removal, if not resignation, of police IG Gregory Como. So when the police got this hint, I don't think they did much verification. So they just rushed with the news in the public to save face and to also make the public to understand that while the IG has been criticized at home for the job he's doing, the world recognizes him as one of the best, police institution. To be 10th on the continent of Africa and 70 among many nations in the world.
10.
Yeah, 10 in Africa and 70.
Yeah.
Among the many nations in the world. It's a good thing for the Liberia National Police. We just hope that now they can fight to achieve, that global standing they claim to have at this current moment. But Sam and his guy have to work on
Yeah, and especially Sam making that kind of mistake.
I mean, he just
I don't know. He's been in the police
for a long
for a
time.
long time now. He's been spokesperson for the Liberian National Police.
Though he just returned recently.
I mean, he's been spokesperson for the Liberian National Police.
And even the opposite of Liberia. Yeah.
On Madam Sirleaf, he was spokesperson, for a very long time, and he has returned. So he's not a new person.
Coming back to this. And he just been in the security setup because when he was relieved of his position at the RNP, he moved to the Ministry of National Defense.
Where he served as
Deputy Minister for Public Affairs.
I think is it assistant
Minister for Public Affairs. Yeah.
So you should have
he's not new in the job.
Knowledge about
communication,
security, PR, how it works, and
and I think the reason for
verification. I don't know if
I think verification because the reason for rushing this information was to repair some of those damages, especially on the character of the man in charge of the LMP, Gregor Coleman. We know Honorable Coleman got issue with the representative of District 9, Montserrado County, and the opposition CDC and all of activists who are calling for him to be removed from the position. So I think Sam was trying to just boost his boss morale, and it turned out differently.
Definitely, it turned out to be the opposite. It can be funny. It can be funny when you say, you bring your own information,
and you come back
and
to
then
say
you
that.
come out, you say, "Oh, the thing I thought yesterday, I was lying."
I think it's meant to save face because if the police are not acting in time, the media was going to come up with the news. So the police wanted to be the one to break the news that the information we provided is not true, because have that information come to Spoon. One page
any media institution that would have refuted that information, that would have done some further verification of that information and report the facts, and comes out to say in a bold headline that the LMP lies, it was going to be more shameful.
Yeah,
it was going to be
more embarrassing,
more shameful, and it was even going to be even more difficult to defend themselves.
Yeah, because the police couldn't retract the statement no longer because another media institution already broke the news.
Yeah, so I mean, even though it is still shameful that you as an institution you come up with
but not as shameful as if I come from someone else.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But at least they themselves came out and made the ratification. They said, "Oh, the thing we thought yesterday, that's the correct one. We gave up." So I think that is much. That is much more okay, compared to
better than preaching.
Spoon have broken that. Spoon have gone to do further research and say, the Liberian National Police lie about international achievement. No, you are going to be too disgraceful for them. But let's go to the lines and hear from Liberians a little bit. Call us on 0777-771-075, 0777-771-075, 055-101-075. Those are the numbers to put it through. We are expecting in our studio this morning Dr. Clarence Moliba of
the political leader of
LANU, the Liberian National Union. Is expected to be our guest here this morning at 9 o'clock. But let's go to the lines and take a few calls. What do you make of our talking points this morning? Call us on 0777-771-075, 0757-771-075, 055-101-075. Those are the numbers to put it through. Let's hear you out this morning on the Today Show. Let me see if the orange line is even on.
And while you do so, then let's just chip in on this xenophobia that is taking place into Africa. West Africans are claiming foreigners are taking over their job. I mean, there's a parable that says the falling of the dry leaf is a warning to the green ones. We are making similar or raising similar concern here in Liberia. Liberians are saying foreigners have taken over their jobs. Liberians, for instance, the businesses set aside by the Liberian government or the Constitution of Liberia for Liberians is being taken over by foreigners. So what is taking place in South Africa now should serve as warning for our leaders to make sure jobs that belong to Liberians should be given to Liberians, and businesses that Liberians should do, should be taken from the hands of foreigners and let Liberians go ahead to do those jobs. Because if the government cannot handle it, my fear is Liberian could result to what is currently taking place in South Africa.
Let's talk to this person. Good morning, your name and where you join us from?
Yes, how you doing? How you everything, man?
I'm okay. How are you? Let's hear you.
I'm bad, man. Let's call it boy. I like the retraction people were talking about, but what more shameful is you people who have get deep behind the police, so it will put the police need to confess themselves. So thank you for that effort and thank you for the good radio station as well.
Okay, thank you very much. Call us on 0777-771-075. We'll be taking a break shortly. To rush in our guest, even though we've not been told that he's around, but let's talk to this person. Hello, your name and where you join us from? Hello?
Yeah.
Good morning. How are you? Your name and where you join us from?
I'm good. We got calling from Niggertown.
Okay, we said thank you very much. Thanks for joining us. How are you?
Fine.
Okay, let's hear you. We said let's hear you, please. Okay, we lost. We said you can call us back if you can. Yeah. Okay, so Dr. Moluba is in studio already, so we will take a very short break. When we come back, we join him to have some very fascinating conversation with him relative to Liberia, some of the training national issues and the LANU, the Liberian National Union. He's going to talk more about the party as well. 2029 is no far away. Somebody says, only a wise man would know that 2029 is right in the corner. Yeah, so let's take this short break. When we come back, we'll play host to our guest.
A politician. The first boss that LU, the University of Liberia, used, our body. But Liberia, since 1847, the first boss that LU received, I was playing for Monaco. I offered them that boss. I came to be president we offer them bosses. Now, how you treat the boss that it didn't last long, then it's an issue. So if LU or the university doesn't have a boss, what are the principals? What are the leaders of the university? They're going to blame some or somebody that was at the head of the government. But it was provided already. We gave you the bosses. I gave you a shirt, and in 2 days you throw it away, and you ask him why. So we have to be responsible here, because all these things is important, and that's why we attack each other for nothing.
Pleasant welcome back. This is the Today Show right here on Spawn 107.5. It's 5 minutes on the flip side of 9 o'clock. And like I told you, at about this time, we be playing host to the political leader of the Liberian National Union, LANU for short, and Dr. Clarence Muniba is here with us in studio, and of course Sylvester Wowie is here as well, has been here. So let's welcome Dr. Muniba to the studio. Doc, welcome.
Thank you. Very, very happy to be here, so we can continue the conversation about Liberia and where we all need to take our country. I think a lot of times, people think that, the leader needs to change the country. No. It's Liberians, every single Liberian. I always go around, I talk to people, I say, Liberia doesn't need one leader. Liberia needs 5 million leaders. And because every single Liberian has to take the responsibility now to be able to say, what am I doing for my community? What am I doing for my county, or my country? And so that's the transition that when I talk to people, I say, let's not wait for somebody to come fix this country for us. Only Liberians can fix Liberia. And every single person who listening to me right now is a Liberian who can fix this country. And so, but thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Okay, it's always good having you here on the Today Show and on the Spawn Network as a whole. So how are you?
I'm good. The gray hair coming small.
I can see that.
Yeah, the gray hair coming small. But I'm good. I'm thankful. As long as you have, life, you have hope. As long as you have hope, you have opportunity. Yeah. And we are here, engaging the people of Liberia, talking to the people of Liberia about what we can do. Like I said, to transform our country. It's not a one-man show. It's something that all of us have to do. But I'm good. I'm happy, and life is good.
Okay. It's often said in our society that gray hair comes with blessing. Yeah. So I hope yours does. Yours does. Yeah, sure. All right. So how is LANU? How is the Liberia National Union? We don't hear much. I don't hear much about LANU like other political institutions that are always in the media, that are always vocal, responding or reacting or criticizing or checkmating the government. The LANU is not that loud, that vocal. How is it?
Well, but then I will blame you because you're in the media. We are always talking, we are always engaging, but the problem we continue to have in Liberia is that when you are addressing things in a professional manner, that doesn't take the news, right? We put out a press release last week. If I was in there cussing somebody's mind and somebody's pot, you would have been running it.
Okay.
So you also have to take the responsibility for that too. You're not hearing us because in Liberia, again, what we continue to chase in this country is loud noise.
Okay.
Right?
The bad
news or the cussing or the indiscipline. And that's what, so Liberian National Union is a party of discipline, which is what we have to make sure our country is. And so, we continue to engage. When you say you don't hear, I was on the radio last night. I was on the radio yesterday morning. I'm on the radio now, and I'll be on the radio at 4:00. So this is the media. But again, when the country itself also needs to refocus. Okay. In 2005, it was CDC UP. 2011, CDC UP. 2017, CDC UP. 2023, CDC UP. Yet every single day, people in the country are crying. Oh, we're suffering. But yet we continue to turn back to the same people who we claim is making us suffer. So the whole idea has to be like, how do we start to identify? Because I always continue to say, there are good Liberians in Liberia who want to see good for this country. But the problem is Liberians have to start to broaden their perspective. And for us at Liberian National Union and for us as a nation, we have to be talking about policies instead of personality.
Okay.
In Liberia, we follow personalities. Oh, that man popular, we'll vote for him. Or that man being around a long time, we'll vote for him. We'll support the man, that my man. Or we are very tribal. So the question has to be, right? When are we going to start talking about policies? I was having a meeting with some women the other day, just yesterday. And they were talking about, when people get elected, when they get there, they can fool us. They can change. No, people are not changing. But what questions are we asking them before they get elected? These are the questions we're supposed to be asking. If somebody there get there and say, yo, let put me there, and then we put them there. Then when they get there, they don't deliver. Then we say, oh, you fool us. No, they didn't fool you. You fool yourself. Because again, the media and everybody in Liberia, we don't ask the pertinent questions. If somebody say we need agriculture, what in agriculture we need? You can't just say we need agriculture. The person has to have a very clear mandate about what they want to do in agriculture. Let's even look at this past elections. What did the Unity Party say? They said arrest, right?
Yeah,
and A stand for agriculture, right? If we look at that, A stand for agriculture. Let's look at the national budget. How much was in the national budget last year for agriculture? $13 million. Less than 6 political offices. Are you serious about agriculture? And then people will be saying, oh, they fool us. No, he just said agriculture. The party just said agriculture, whereas we talked in details about what we want to do in agriculture, that every single district in Liberia must become a food production zone, and that in 6 years, Liberia must be self-sufficient in our staple food of rice. That's what we said. We're very clear about it. But no, that doesn't carry the news. All Liberian people know agriculture. So when the government gets there and they only put $13 million in the budget for agriculture, and then they put more money than that for travel, then we say, oh, the people fool us. No, the people did not fool you. And so back to your point.
So essentially you are saying that Liberians are the cause of their own problem.
Including you.
I am a Liberian.
Including you, because you say the media doesn't hear. But honestly, and so that's another thing, to be frank with you, right?
Okay.
In all seriousness, when we talk about how do you promote people, right? Everything again is based around money. If I was walking around Liberia throwing away money, you will hear about me every day. Okay. But because I'm not doing that, because I'm talking about the real issues, how do we change policies? That doesn't make news. Right? Nobody during the 2023 elections, we went to 263 towns and villages in this country. No other political party went to more than 50. So how does that not make news? How does that not engage? Nobody this year have been interviewed more than me. But yet when I sit here, the first thing is, oh, we're not hearing about Lindu. And so these are the issues that we are fighting. These are the perceptions that we have. But anyway, I think after this, you will be able to hopefully say my name a little bit more, right? To be able to, because, but I truly believe, like in all seriousness, again, I really appreciate this platform.
Okay.
One, but then two, and more importantly, I truly believe that our generation will be the ones to change this country. Our generation must be the ones to change this country. And so I love the fact of the position I'm taking in life. which is at a certain point, I will continue to say there are good Liberians in Liberia who want to see good for this country. And I'm proud to say I want to be one of the people who represent that.
Okay. 2029 is just around the corner. I know one may say it's still far, but and anybody who has wisdom will tell you 2029 is just right around the corner. What are some preparations that Lanun is making ahead of 2029?
I think most importantly, what we have to be able to do in this country, and I think it's a failure on our part in Liberia to have 20 people running for president. Okay. And so that's why we also become so tribalistic, right? If 15, 20 people run for president, the whole country will just say, oh, but then, where my countrymen, where my tribe men? Okay. And then that's basically what happens. And then we ultimately continue to have the two political parties that everybody crying under continue to surface. So I think it would be a failure on us. I don't really like to use the word opposition, to be honest with you, because when the success of this government is also my success. Okay. So I hate to say, oh, I'm opposition. I'm not opposing good governance. Okay. I'm not opposing good budget. I'm not opposing the development of this country. So I normally don't try to use the word opposition, but I think the people who are not in government right now, people like myself, who are leading political institutions, I think all of us have to be able to get together. And I'm having so many discussions with other people. I think I've met every major political leader in the last couple of weeks. And so the idea has to be at some point, how do we all come together based on ideology? Right? How do we all come together to create so that in 2029, there's not 15, 20 people running for president?
So it means Lanun is open to alliance.
You have to be open to alliance, right? Everybody has to be open to alliance. Even no one political party can win any elections in this country. It's impossible. Okay. And so, yes, we are 100% open to alliances. We are talking to people, but how do we form those alliances? And those alliances have to be formed with the idea. We are not going to say we must be. It's like, how can we put together a alliance, a coalition that not only can challenge, for leadership, but can also transform the country. And I think that's the most important thing. It can't just be like, okay, it can't just be, oh, dance with the devil. Okay. Right? It can't just be dance with the devil. It has to be, how can we come together to transform this country? I continue to say it, right? At some point, Liberia must be a great country. At some point, we must be the ones to do it. So, how can we all come together? So, like I said, I've spoken to so many political leaders, at least, the major ones over the last couple of weeks, and we'll continue to engage. I think, we have to put people of character, of experience, people who have a vision, and we have to be very clear about how we collaborate. And so, yeah, we're working on it. We are open to collaborations, and there will be a lot of collaborations that happen, and we'll be part of them.
You spoke to more political leaders, including the incumbents, Joseph Yuma Boakai?
No, honestly, to be frank with you, I haven't spoken to President Boakai in quite some time, right?
Since he became president, have you spoken to him?
No, I have not. And I think it had a lot to do with, in the second round, I had conversations with both CDC and UP, at the highest levels. About collaboration and me endorsing them. Okay. And, to be frank with you, the same thing I just said when I first started speaking. 2005 CDC UP, 2011, 2017, 2020, 23. But then Liberian people are still crying. And so I decided, we decided at that point, after a lot of discussion, that, we weren't going to endorse neither party, that we were going to work with whoever won. And going from there. But, I think some people were not happy about that decision. When you talk about the current administration, as well as, they weren't happy about us not endorsing either side. And so I'm fine with that. So, no, I haven't spoken to him since then. And but
have you stuck to your promise to work with whoever win the election in 2023? Are you?
We've been open. I mean, right now it's not like about looking for a job. I'm not looking for a job. I'm not asking nobody for a job right now. But the whole premise was whoever wins, if they are willing, And I say this not bragging. I say this not making big mouth, right? And because by the time I say this, then people on the radio who listening will say, "Hey, you see," but I'm proud to say I don't think there's more than, I would just say 3 to 5 Liberians in this country who are more qualified and competent than me. just a few weeks ago, I was flown out to teach and to train 20 ministers and parliamentarians from 20 different African countries about ethical leadership. I'm not in government, and I was on a panel with the vice president of Botswana. I was on a panel with the president of Namibia. I'm being flown around the world. I've been to 6 different countries this year talking about leadership and implementation. So when I talk about, there's very few, Liberians from an educational standpoint, even with 2 masters and a PhD going to Harvard and doing Harvard. So I say this without trying to make myself big, but there are no more than 3 to 5 Liberians in this country. And I stand by who are more qualified and competent than me. But I'm not in government simply because I did not endorse, which I'm fine with. Okay. Right? I'm not in this country looking, I need a job. I'm in this country to transform this country. Okay. If I was looking for money, I promise you, I would not be in this country. I would be outside of the country, taking so many opportunities, with so many of the different opportunities that I've had.
And will you take a government job if it's given?
No, not right now. No,
not right now.
No, not right now. Absolutely not. I think right now we have to be, some people, because I wouldn't take a job right now because like the budget that I'm very much opposed to, right? And I continue to complain about, if I was in a government job, you can't talk about it. And I continue to say, there's no way this budget that we say we have $1.2 billion, but there's no way this $1.2 billion would transform this country.
You can still be in the government and criticize.
But then,
not criticizing necessarily why you could be in government to shifting and make it better.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But no, you're right. You do. I do give you that point. But to be frank with you, at this point, I don't see, listen, at this point, I'm enjoying what I'm doing, traveling around the world, giving speeches. Then also I'm doing a lot of leadership training here in Liberia. I did one 2 weeks ago. And our goal is to train 1,000, Liberian leaders every single year. We give Moniba Foundation certificates, leadership certificates. So I enjoy doing that. I enjoy traveling around the world, giving speeches. I enjoy traveling around, meeting people and engaging people. And then also we are going to be also traveling around the country as well, doing leadership training, because I truly believe, and I will continue to say, every single Liberian has to look at themselves as a leader. Okay. And the whole idea about when you look at yourself as a leader, don't say you're going to change the country immediately. Say you're going to change your small community. And it shouldn't just be about money, right? It can be about how you carry yourself. That's why I'm always so proud. I've worked in government before. I was the youngest minister of state with our portfolio in Liberia's history. I was the youngest chairman of LEC. I was one of the youngest people to oversee project implementation in this country. And I challenge anybody. I say, look at the record. I'm so proud of the character I've been able to build in this country. Anybody who has engaged with me, anybody who listened to me, when we talk about just the character of somebody, I'm proud of it, right? Because then I always say, when we talk about war and economic crimes code in Liberia, I can laugh. Why are we even putting a war there? Let's just do economic crimes code. Let's investigate who's stealing the people money, who has stolen the people money. And I always say, start from any office that I've worked in and see if one single dollar has come to me. Absolutely not. So when a lot of times in Liberia, war and economic crimes code, we know who killed though. We know who brought the war. We know who are the warlords. We know who are child soldiers in this country. Let's leave the war aside and let's just focus on economic crimes code, because that is what is undermining the future of Liberia. The stealing, right? The 1991 war is not undermining the future of Liberia right now. It's the economic crime that is still going on in this country that's undermining us. And so what we have to be able to do is focus on how we change. So just going back to the budget that I talked about, okay, $1.2 billion in Liberia, that's our whole budget, right? Let's do a comparison to our person that we always like to talk about, Ghana. What is their budget? 32 billion. Liberia's budget is 1 billion. Ghana's budget is 32 billion. How much do they pay their lawmakers? $2,000. How much do they pay their ministers? Around the same thing. Yet, what do we pay our lawmakers? What do we pay our ministers? Let's look at Burkina Faso. That everybody, Burkina Faso, Touareg, he's doing so well. How much does the president of Burkina Faso make? 6,000. How much does our president make? I don't even know. That's state secret. But we talk about 20,000, 22,000. So how can we see somebody that's doing something and we praise them and then we do the complete opposite? Next year, that will be car year. $45,000 vehicle for all our lawmakers. And then plus these same lawmakers turn around and say we need 14 more people. For what? This government is too big to succeed. I hope you hear it. Liberia's government is too big to succeed.
Okay, and going back, to the War and Economic Crimes Code, I heard you said we should only focus on economic crimes instead of war crimes. Are you, in essence, saying that we should focus on maybe restorative justice instead of retributive justice?
Restorative, absolutely, in the sense of where is our money?
Okay.
Who is stealing our money? Who continues to steal our money? And so, yes, absolutely, you're right. That's what we should be talking about. Listen, when we talk about retributive justice, who are we going to go after? Are we going to go after the child soldiers who had no opportunity, who grew up at 10, 11, 12 years old, they're getting a gun in their hand and say, go kill, right? They were given drugs. No 12-year-old in Liberia were able to go to any country and purchase a weapon. So who are we going after? Are we going to go after the warlords? Who are the warlords, right? Who are the warlords? Let's start naming them. Most of them have passed away. So why are we? What is this facade about war and war crimes code? No, let's focus on the true issue that's currently today taking the livelihood of our children who will be coming behind us. Let's focus on economic crimes code.
Okay.
Let's focus on who is stealing the money right now. Right now, today, as we speak, there's some type of corruption going on, right? Why are we not investigating that? The
Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission,
the LACC, and then there was the other institution, man.
Anti-Graft Governance Commission.
Yeah, the one that's supposed to be going around collecting money from everybody.
LRA?
No, the government.
I don't know why I'm just, but either way, right? We have to be able to focus on institutions and also, right? And when we talk about policies, right? Liberian National Union, we have been very clear. There should be a dedicated court simply and only for corruption. If somebody is accused of corruption, let that person have their day in court and let them be, two things has to happen. Let them be exonerated or let them be,
restitute the money?
100%. Let me give you an example. In Rwanda, if you are found guilty of stealing $100,000, not only do you have mandatory jail time, but you have to pay back 3 times the money. 3 times the money. You steal $100,000 in Rwanda, you will stay in jail and you will pay back $300,000. So that's why people in Rwanda are so scared to even talk about corruption. Somebody went to jail in Rwanda just because they brought up the idea of let's make a deal. That person went to jail. Because there has to be some type of accountability in Liberia. And when we talk about accountability, we don't have it in Liberia, and that's why things happen. That's why corruption is so rampant, because it's so difficult right now to name somebody who has gone to jail for corruption in this country. It's impossible to name somebody who has gone to jail for corruption. You can't do it. Why? Are we trying to say that there's no corruption? Or do we say every time when we're talking, because right now I'm talking, everybody can do their own. You said when you get there, you'll do your own.
Like brother elephant meat.
Like brother elephant meat. I'm telling you, right now, as I'm talking, people are listening right now. Say, he that talking that thing, when he get there, he will steal. No, you have to believe, and I will say it again, that there are good Liberians in Liberia who want to see good for this country.
So you talk about setting precedent that will deter all us from.
There has to be, absolutely, Sylvester, there has to be precedent in this country. Liberian people, we hard to hear, but we're quick to learn. If people start going to jail, imagine if we had somebody who went to jail in Liberia for corruption, and then we go to the house, we take the whole family from while they're sitting down in South Beach. We go to the house if they are found guilty. We go to the house, their mom, their pa, their wife, their children. We take their children from the house. Then we sell that house to restitute the people of Liberia money. How many more Liberians will continue to steal? They will say, damn it, I'm not going to go down, because they do not want to be in jail while they're training and getting kicked out of the house. But we have to start to set those type of examples to scare people. Let people have be small when they're stealing Liberian people money. But right now, it doesn't happen.
Okay, let's get to some of your views on some trending national issues. But let's look back at LANU's position on the nomination of the chairperson of the National Elections Commission. LANU was one of the few political parties in the country that said it supports the nomination by President Joseph Juma Boak of Jonathan Wieder as the chairperson of the National Elections Commission. While other political parties were completely, against it. Why do you support such nomination when others are questioning the neutrality of, the nominee?
And honestly, that's a very fine question. And I continue to say the reason why I didn't endorse anybody, the reason why we, at Liberian National Union did not endorse anybody in the second round was simple. If we see something good, we talk it. If we see something bad, we talk it. Right? And so when you bring up the idea of Jonathan Wieder, we were very clear in our press release about why we supported him. Jonathan Wieder is somebody who has served the commission for over 16 years, from 2004 to 2020. And our big thing is, was he ever accused of corruption? No, right? And then more importantly, in 2014, when he was commissioner and also co-chair, right, during his 14 years, CDC won an elections in 2014 against the son of a sitting president, right, who was from UP, the sitting president from UP. And
Joshua and Robert Celia.
Exactly.
Montserrado County.
County senatorial seat. Thank you for giving context. Against the sitting president's son, lost against the CDC government. I mean,
the political
against the political leader of CDC. And Jonathan Wieder was one of the people who co-signed the results for that. That was 2014. In 2017, CDC government again won against that time the incumbent UP administration. And he was co-chair. He helped to conduct those elections. So how all of a sudden now is he the most biased person? So my whole point had been, right, is he qualified? Yes, he is the most qualified person who has been nominated to serve as chairman of NEC because of his experience. Direct experience at NEC. That's one. Two, has there been any issues of corruption or impropriety or anything of the sort? No. So then all of a sudden, right? Let's go back to Kokoya. Kokoya actually ran on the UP government. Kokoya actually ran as a candidate on UP. Who's the Deviata
Brown.
Deviata Brown. We know it is no secret that she was part of CDC. She was chairperson. And then what happened? Did she not conduct an election that CDC lost? So let's be very clear with the facts, right? Did he say that statement?
Deviata aligns with the CDC. I mean, what wasn't much more public like Jonathan Wieder. One problem that a lot of folks have with the nomination of Jonathan is that he reported to serve as data analyst, for the CDC during for the Unity Party. For the Unity Party during the previous election, and he was one of those who came up with a result. That the Unity Party had won the election during the first round. So other people are also questioning, his competence from that perspective. So if you are data analyst and you're working, with data, and you come up making such
fake analysis
results, people tell me as premature results. I mean, it also questions or it speaks volume about your own competence.
Let me say this, right? Because, I'm now on NEC payroll to be defending. I'm just trying to defend why we endorse him, right? And I will say it again. Commissioner Wieder wrote a letter as a private citizen now. So, hopefully we'll talk about it because we have no private sector in this country. But as a private sector person, right? Not as the commissioner of NEC, as a private sector person, Jonathan Wieder wrote a letter to CDC, CPP, and Unity Party, saying that from his experience in this country, conducting elections, he was a consultant that was willing to work for any of them. Only Unity Party gave him the consultancy. So as a private sector person is when he made those statements. If he made those statements in the position that he was, then we will not be endorsing him.
So you think that doesn't have any tendency of conflict of interest?
Absolutely. No, because he was a private citizen as the consultant, right? He was a private citizen as the consultant making those statements, which he offered CDC the opportunity and CPP the opportunity. You understand what I'm saying? So as a private citizen, that's what he said. So outside of that, if he said that as somebody, I go back again to the history of somebody. I go back to the history of the people we have nominated as chair people of NEC, their affiliations, right? One. And then I also go back to the actions. In 2017, was he co-chair and commissioner when CDC won presidential elections against the sitting government, against the very same UP? Yes. In 2014, was he commissioner when the same CDC won against the then UP government? Yes. So how can we all of a sudden say that he is so biased? So, like I said, that, that's normally, I always answer these things, but I hope people from NEC are listening so they can come and turn to quote lawyer for NEC, but that's our stance, and I'm still happy until other news comes out or other revelations comes out. We stand behind our support for him.
Okay. All right, and let's also take a look at the recent expulsion of Representative Yeke Coloba from the legislature. I know you follow that from start to end. The main reason, according to justification reports I read for his expulsion, was because of remarks he made relative to the Liberia-Guinea border situation. Do you think, firstly, his expulsion was in line with the law, was in line with the Constitution, and do you think people should be expelled, or such harsh punitive measures should be taken against people because of the expression of their opinions on national issues?
Absolutely. And again, that's why it's political. That thing was,
You think the expulsion is political?
What do you mean think? It was. What sense does it make? Listen, for 10 days, they were called back. Lawmakers were called back to session for 10 days, right?
Yeah.
You know what I think is unpatriotic? Because they said that what he said was unpatriotic. You know what? 100% is unpatriotic. Them coming back for 10 days and getting extra money.
Okay.
That's unpatriotic to me, right? After making all the money they're making that kind of money on a monthly basis, and then coming back to do the job, they say pay us extra. That first to me is unpatriotic. Second, what's unpatriotic is the fact that they spent 7 to 8 days debating their colleagues, whether they were kicking out of the Senate, and how many days did they spend talking about the national budget, the supplementary budget that would change this country. One.
For which they were called back for.
For which they were called back for. They spent 1 day talking about the supplementary budget. And in that supplementary budget, where did the most money go? To government operations, to travel, to entertainment, to X, Y, and Z. $2 million, $3 million went to agriculture, $3 million went to education, $12 million went to government. That was spent for 1 day. And then 8 days spent on the case of Yeke Coloba. That's unpatriotic to me. And then, and the whole idea, and the very premise of why Yeke said that, let's again go back. Right now, as we speak today, there are Guinean soldiers on Liberian soil.
Guinean soldiers are still on Liberian soil.
Are they not? And that's a report. You're in the news, so you should do it. But from my what I've been told as of last night, Guinean soldiers are still on Liberian soil. What is the issue? We have a president that, and when we look at the budget, right, we are sure, I don't know how much was spent going to Guinea, but he went there with whole delegation, with whole security detail. Probably $75,000 to $100,000 was spent going to Guinea for him to go and meet with the president of Guinea so they can settle this issue. He came back, no press conference. We don't know what happened. We don't know what was discussed.
The government said they are using diplomatic channels.
There was a statement. There was a statement.
Did the president speak, or that was a statement?
It was a statement released.
Exactly.
The executive mansion.
No, the president. We need to hear from our leader.
Okay.
We need to hear from our leader, and so that's the issue. Our leader.
But there are several, media of communication. I mean, it could be through.
Listen,
statement,
if I'm president of Liberia,
verbal statement or non-verbal statement.
If I'm president of Liberia, when I come back from an engagement like that, I'm speaking directly to the people of Liberia.
If you are,
if I was,
okay,
yes, this is what was discussed. These are the next steps, and these are when Guineans are going to leave our soil. But right now, there are still Guineans on our soil. After that, the House sent their leadership to the border. Right? That was, I guarantee you, another $40,000 to $50,000 in travel. They came back and said what? What did they tell us? What did they tell us?
Diplomatic approach is ongoing.
So why are the people still on our soil?
I mean, so
what kind of diplomatic approach allows Ghanaians to stay on our soil?
Sometimes diplomatic approach take time. You know.
No, don't excuse failure.
Okay.
Don't excuse failure. But that's failure.
If this was Lanu government, what would have been your own approach to the Guinea border dispute?
No, the thing is, right? Let's so quickly. The thing is, I don't even know the details. So I don't even know what my approach would be. But I know for a fact, Ghanaian soldiers will not still be on Liberian soil 1 month after, 2 months after. No. So I don't know what my approach would be because I don't know the details. All we know that we're maybe mining, who owned the mine. So these are the questions that if the president goes there, if the lawmakers go there, we should have more answers than what we have. The response cannot be, diplomatic channels are going through. What type of diplomatic channels allows? It's a declaration of war. Okay. To put armed soldiers in another country is an explicit declaration of war. So therefore, that's what I'm saying. We have to hear directly from the president.
As a president, would you have retaliated?
You have done it differently, maybe.
No, and that's what I'm saying. I don't want to say, I'm just saying, right? If I was president, A, I would 100% know what's going on, and B, Guinean soldiers would still not be on my soil because my diplomatic channels would not take 2 months. That's all I'm saying. And I'm very clear about
and why if you go through diplomacy and it doesn't work?
So, but then you're at war.
That's war.
You're at war. Because nobody should be on your soil. No other nation should be on your soil with weapons.
Okay.
So, I mean, let's not complicate this thing. Guinean soldiers should not be on Liberian soil, period. So if you are going through diplomatic channels, the first diplomatic channels, and, I've been blessed. I've sat in, God has blessed me. And I always say, I've met dozens of world leaders. I've sat face to face with dozens of world leaders, right? Some of the biggest in the world, right? From powerful nations. I've sat down, had breakfast, had lunch with them, traveled on planes with them, and had discussions with them. And 100% is not that complicated. Let's not complicate it. Diplomatic challenge. Look, the first thing in diplomacy is everybody goes back to status quo. Status quo is Guinean soldiers on Guinean soil, Liberian soldiers on Liberian soil. That's the first thing you do. That's status quo. When you talk about diplomatic negotiations going on, that's the first thing that's the first starting point. Everybody go back to status quo before diplomacy starts. But that's not the case. Status quo now is Guineans on Liberian people's soil. So what's the response? What's happening? And so that's why I don't want to come and say, if our president will do this, I will do this. But I do know Guinean soldiers will not be on Guinean soil, on Liberian people's soil.
Okay, and you just want to end up on, the expulsion of Yeke Koluba?
Say that again.
The expulsion of Yeke Koluba. You said it wasn't constitutional.
You said it was political.
It was political. It was political. And so what ends up happening when that continues to happen is that people are now scared to talk. And we cannot have a country where people are scared to talk, right? Okay. And so that's what I'm saying. The reason why when we're talking about the idea about, working in government now, we were open to working with like taking a role in this administration. 100% we were when the administration first started, because I truly and I understand and I know what I bring to the table. Okay. I know what I bring to the table. We're open to it. But now, imagine if I was working in government now, you think I'll be able to say this? No, because I just saw them expel a lawmaker for speaking. And again, if we have a country in Liberia where people are scared to talk because they'll lose their job, guess what will happen? We start slowly going back to the dark days that none of us want to go back to. We already know what Liberian people can do. And it happened throughout the 90s, where we literally were eating each other and killing each other. So if that's the case, let there be true freedom of speech in this country. But if we slowly start holding people, if we start going after people for what they say, just for what they say, then where are we going? What's that Prophet Key? He in jail for speech as well, right?
Yeah.
So we have to be careful in this country.
Apulu County Senator Amara Quenan was rescinded criticized for a statement he made against the AFL in support of the Guinean army. What's your stand on that?
You know, I think from my understanding, Sylvester and Yekesi, is that he said that Liberia had 2,000 man army, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to 2,000
soldiers. Yeah, is that not true?
I mean, according to that, those are classified information.
That's not classified because I know it, and not one day have I got the intelligence briefing. So that's what I'm saying. Hey man, the thing about Liberia is, remember, it can be so frustrating where I'm actually about to start laughing because it's so frustrating where it becomes funny. Okay. We focus on the wrong things. We just had army recruitment where Liberian people cannot read and write. Liberian people can't read and write, and we sitting there getting fed with somebody because they say we only got 2,000 man army. We only have a 2,000 man army. Let's double it. We only got 4,000 man army. Let's double that one. We only got 8,000 man army. Is that an army that plenty people? It is not classified information. It is not classified information to know that, right? Because at the end of the day, every single I can go on Google right now and tell you the manpower of every single military in the country. So it's not in the country, the United States, China, all of these countries, Iran. So we know what the military strength is. So it's not classified.
So
they have to be focused on the right thing. We are not.
So people believe those figures that you're going to see on the internet are in the actual figure, but for a lawmaker
who is in a privileged position,
who occupies a privileged position to come up with such statistics, it means he's revealing some very accurate and important information.
It's not, right? You know what I would be happy for people to get vexed with him and the Senate and the House of is that budget that they passed. And I would say nonsense budget that they passed. That's what I would be, I would support people being vexed with him about that. But he said we got 2,000 man army, that's something to get vexed with. You should be vexed that JFK Hospital only getting $9 million in the budget. That's what people should be vexed about. You should be vexed that the Speaker office got $500,000 in entertainment. You should be vexed that millions of dollars is going towards travel and pennies are going towards, vocational and technical training. Maryland Vocational College, $200,000 went to the budget. That's what we should be vexed about.
Okay.
So that's what we should be vexed about.
So do you think, amidst all of this, do you think the freedom of expression is being eroded?
100%.
Under the Boycott administration?
It's slowly eroding. 100%.
Compared to the previous government?
You know what? Even because I'm trying to think if anybody went to jail. And Yeke cost the former president. I mean, I heard some of it. Okay. And he wasn't worried about losing his seat, right? But in this administration, it did. So we are slowly backtracking, and we need to be careful. We need to be careful because we don't want to create a society, a culture where people are scared to talk, and we have to be very careful about that.
Okay.
I mean, I follow you briefly during the county when I got to know you, your strong support for LOFA and the resources you contributed to make sure LOFA is counted among those counties that will call themselves county winner. At one of those occasions, there was a gathering at your home where now President, senior citizen of LOFA County, attended. I mean, so today, people will say, where is that LOFA solidarity we saw then? I mean, now that Walker is president and the son of LOFA County is one of his critics.
Listen, I'm not a critic. I'm just telling you how I feel. Okay. But you know what I love more than LOFA? Liberia. I love Liberia more than LOFA. And everybody needs to have that approach. In this country, we are more tribalistic than nationalistic. We love our county more than we love our country. Right now, and I continue to always use the example, right now, let Lone Star go play somebody. The field will be empty. Let LOFA play Bong. Nimba play Bassa. You will see the field packed. You will see people so proud to wave their flags. And so that's the issue that we have. Because somebody from LOFA is president, so I shouldn't talk. Because somebody from LOFA, and so that's why I can, and that's why in the endorsement process in the second round, right? Everybody will, that LOFA. No, it should be about Liberia business. And so that's why we decided to sit out, because I know for a fact right? There were going to be some good he would do and will support.
Okay.
And there will be some bad he will do, and we'll talk about it. So I'm not a critic. I'm just trying to make sure that people of Liberia understand what is right and what is wrong. And if we see right, we will praise it. If we see wrong, we'll talk about it. And it cannot be about Lofa, because Liberia must be bigger than Lofa. Liberia must be bigger than any county. And so that's why a lot of times when people run for president, the first thing we ask, again, like I was saying, what county the man from? And then if we continue that mindset, when they counted that man from, when he get there, guess who he hiring? He counted people. Guess where the development going? To he counted. Then we continue to say, oh, the man fool us. No, you helping to that thing. So because President Boyka is from Lofa does not mean I must support him, right? As long as it's good for Liberia, then it's good for me. Then I support President Boyka. If it's bad for Liberia, then I don't support him.
Okay. The printing of new money. The central bank has proposed printing of new money.
79 billion.
Yeah, 79.
I like how you said billion.
Yeah. Just a few years ago, we printed money, and again, we are here printing money, and basically the type of money we print is the paper money, and the lifespan is just between 1 to 5 years. You also have the plastic money, which lifespan is between 1 to 10 years. What do you make of the frequent printing of money? Do you think we've got to shift from printing paper money, that will just last for a while, we have to go expend a lot of money again to print new batch of money, or we should shift to the paper money that will last much longer, and it's going to save us more money, because it's often said cheap is expensive.
No,
cheap is expensive, but I think we're still looking for our continuous, right? And we're still looking for our continuous.
Well, 16 billion.
Yeah, we're still looking for our 16 billion. So, at the end of the day, are we printing money? I'm not in the meetings with central bank, with the government to determine like the economic data that they are looking at.
Okay.
But what I do know is that this printing money, if we continue to go down the line of what we have continued to be, it will not be of any zero benefit to the typical Liberian people. Right? It will not be. This money will be printed. It will come in 2028.
Controls inflation, according to them.
There's listen, this money will be printed. In 2028, we'll start seeing new money. And in 2029, we'll see it all over for campaign. That's what will end up happening if we are not careful, right? The idea is, I keep going back to the budget, because when I say I hate the budget, I hate the budget.
So are you saying when the monies are printed, they benefit politicians more?
100%.
Okay.
Let's look at the budget. Who truly benefits from the budget? 70% of the budget, 80% of the budget goes to running the government. So who is benefiting? 103 lawmakers are making over $50 million in salary and
benefits.
Say that again.
Benefits.
And benefits. 103 people are making over $50 million in salary and benefits. Fuel slips, scratch card, travel, entertainment, sitting fees. That just like you working at the radio, they're paying you salary. Then when you enter the studio, you say, "Wow, can we sit down? I need extra fees for that." What? Sitting fees for what? So 100%, this $79 million, most of it again will go to government operations. Let's look at this country. We should be talking about money going to the private sector. And so that's why at Liberian National Union, that's why I always talk about the idea that it's the private sector. Imagine there's no way I would be president of Liberia and minimum $200 to $250 million does not go directly to the private sector. The reason why the richest people in Liberia, there are three classes of rich people in Liberia: Lebanese, Indian, and politicians. Why is that? The reason why a typical young person would get up and say, I don't want to go, I don't want to be a business owner, I want to be a lawmaker, I want to be a minister, is because it's the government people that make money in this country. And as long as that remains true, which it is today, the country will never grow. The private sector, I always say, every single district in Liberia should have its own loan fund. So if I'm living in District 6, which I do, right, I should be able to go to a bank that has $4-5 million just for businesses in District 6. I'm a business owner in District 6. I should be able to go to the bank, and every single year, there's $4 million that I can get, 30,000, 40,000, so that if I have a small Kobo shop, I can expand to a restaurant. If I'm selling right on the side of the road, I can buy a small store.
But that align with recent statement by Vice President Jeremiah Kuhn that the government will now begin to loan its citizens. I think some millions will be set aside for that purpose.
Yeah, but I've been talking about it now. I've started talking about it. So let's see how I hope they do it. Right? He didn't say until I started talking about it. So that's why I'm on the radio talking. So even though, your colleague say he don't hear about me, but everybody,
No, I was just trying to, compare your party, how vocal your party is compared to other political parties, that I heard about much around here.
They normally respond or react to every
y'all would
action
do me a
from
favor.
government.
Now, every time I thought y'all would talk about it, because we all have to work together. But no, the end of the day, I hope that happens, and I hope it's true. And so that's why I'm talking.
Okay.
Right? Because this was never a discussion up until I started talking. So I hope it happens, but that has to be it. We have to build Liberia district by district. District by district has to be the only way we can build Liberia. We can't continue to say, oh, we fixing Liberia, and then all the development comes to Monrovia. You understand what I'm saying? It has to be, how do we make sure every single district has a hospital or a clinic that can address the needs of the people in that district? How does that district have a technical vocational college? How does that district have a loan program for the citizens of that district? How does that, so once we do that, then all of a sudden the entire country begins to develop. Because right now everything just comes to Monrovia. And so yes, we have to be able to do that, and I hope the government can do it. Listen, if I never become president like Liberia, but the country gets better, I'm happy. I'm okay.
I mean, someone would say easier said than done. I mean, you politicians make all these fine pronouncements, but by the time you get at the high seat, I mean.
So and it was done in Rwanda, right? In Rwanda, everybody, and one of the things I always say, I ever become president like Liberia, everybody will get it. Everybody living outside of the city, everybody living in rural areas, in villages, will get one single cow, minimum. And that's what, and that is not.
Say that again.
Every single person in Liberia outside will get one single cow.
One single cow.
One single cow.
For what? For what purpose?
You see, and this was why. And I always say, and I'll go to the purpose, but I always say, people know how to develop countries. All we have to do in Liberia is follow suit.
Okay.
In Rwanda, one of the biggest things, Liberia has one of the worst rates in the world for stunting. And stunting, stunting is like, when people are thinking about when you grow short, or Liberian people tight. But Liberian people are tight simply because we're not getting enough nutrition. We're not getting enough milk. We're not eating enough protein, enough meat. Right? So the typical child, rice and ray oil, rice and ray oil, rice and ray oil, rice and small fish, rice and ray oil. So because of that, not only is the body not developing, the brain is also not developing. So what did Rwanda do? The president, Paul Kagame, in Rwanda, they literally said they have 15 million people. Everybody gets one cow. So that the poorest, everybody in rural areas, in village areas, so that the poorest person in Rwanda now, their children can wake up and drink milk, fresh milk. When they're hungry, they can kill the cow. And then the government goes around and impregnates each cow. So, and I've been around Rwanda, you will go to some of the poorest villages, some of the poor people, you will see them, they will have 5-6 cows. Poor people, no job, 5-6 cows. They're training, their stomach full. So these are things, these are policies. So, I'm very clear about it. That would be one of our agricultural bedrocks. Let people in our rural areas be self-sufficient. Let our young people be able to wake up and drink milk. Right? Have 5-6 cows. When food getting scarce, and when they start getting hungry, they can go outside and kill cow. In Liberia right now, when one cow, we go to Guinea. You talked about me being from Lofa. A lot of times when one cow will go to Guinea to buy, but now since I don't know, there's
I'm talking about you being or you are from Lofa.
Distribute the cows around to each and everything. Why can't maybe your government, if elected as president, why can't you? Why can't the government maybe produce the milk itself? And just enable sufficient supply in the country for citizens to
Well,
be
you
able
can
to
see,
buy.
you just made the common mistake that people in Liberia make. Government is too big.
All right.
Why is government doing that? There should be the private sector. There should be
Okay.
individuals who are doing that. It should not be government.
Okay.
Government wants to do everything, and that's why we are failing. Government wants to do everything, and that's why the $1.2 billion budget, 80% of it goes to government. Right? Government should be small. The private sector should be big.
Okay.
If everybody gets an individual car, next thing you know, and then everybody, let's say everybody gets an individual car, right? And then we have loans and money available to the private sector, to Liberian citizens to go. Guess what? They will do that business you're talking about, not government. Not government. Government is only meant to put in the laws, make sure everybody is held accountable, and implement the laws. That's it. But for us in Liberia, government does everything. Even if, and we could go, let's go back to the private sector. Right now, if somebody open restaurant, if government officials don't go to a restaurant, it will fail. If somebody open car dealership, if government don't buy your car, it will close down. So that's why it's we don't run a true we don't run a true capitalistic country. We don't. Government. So the idea would be, how do we empower the citizens of Liberia? And that's why I continue to make argument for.
Okay. All right, so folks, that's it. It's 1 minute up until 10 o'clock. We have in our studio Dr. Clarence Moniba, the political leader of the Liberia National Union. He's been here giving his perspective about some, trending national issues, and telling us a little bit about his party and his preparedness towards 2029. So we like to go to the lines now and take a few calls. But just before that, one question quickly. Recently, the former president was hosted by I think Truth FM or those radio stations.
True. It was true.
The former president, Ellie Johnson-Sully.
She appeared on True FM.
Yeah, it was true.
She talked about. She was asked about the sanitation of Monrovia, and she said Monrovia is so filthy.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree with that?
It is. Monrovia dirty, but a lot of times we'll just quickly say, city corporation, but let's look at the budget again.
Okay.
Let's look at
everything boils down to the budget.
Everything boils down to the budget. That's why it's so confusing to me when we are not developing our country, then we are confused. That confuses me, that we are confused. Why? Why is the country dirty? How much money is allocated to the city corporation for cleaning the city? I think honestly, in this, I need to get the exact number. Let's assume is $1.5 million, right? Let's just assume that. And if any of the callers who listening, they can find it. But how much money is truly allocated to clean this city? Maybe 1.5. Let's just say $2 million. But I promise you and guarantee you, right? We need about, let's say, 20 trucks a day to clean the city in Monrovia. Each truck to rent, because we don't have our own trucks, is $500. That before fueling, that before salaries for the people picking up the debt. We need $1.5 million a month to clean the city. We don't need that for the whole year. And so we ourselves have to be honest with the development of the country and with cleaning the country. What is the budget allowing for the cleaning of the city? Again, and I always say, if I'm president of Liberia, one of my goals would be like, how is Monrovia the cleanest city, not only in West Africa, but in Africa? My goal would be to challenge Kigali, because when you walk around Kigali, again, I was in Kigali, not too long ago, giving, leadership training and giving speeches all around. When you walk around Kigali, you cannot find dirt on the street. But every single morning, you see hundreds of people cleaning the street. And then the people are disciplined. When you drink, first of all, they don't have any plastic water thing. But even if you have dirt, you don't drop it down on the ground. What's the first thing we as Liberians do? So how do we expect a clean city if we ourselves are not disciplined? So the idea is there has to be two things, right? The first thing is that the government has to commit through the budget
to make sure the city is clean. That's the first thing. Then secondly, we as Liberians have to now change our mindset. So it has to be in tandem. You can't get $1.something million for the budget. You say, oh, that's for cleaning the city. When you know for a fact to truly clean a city the size of Liberia, of Monrovia, is tens of thousands, if not $100,000 per day if you want to effectively do it. So we ourselves have to be serious. So again, it goes back to the budget.
All right, so folks, let's go to the lines. You want to call us on 0777 77 1075 0777 77 1075 0555 1075. We have Dr. Clarence Monula of LANU, the Liberia National Union political leader. Do you have questions for him, or you have some comments or an input to make? Let's hear you out this morning. Good morning, your name and where you join us from.
Yes, good morning.
How are you?
I want to speak to my Lama brother.
Okay.
That's a bunny I can try with.
So is it that money in your speech?
Yeah.
How are you? How are you?
You're a beautiful president, man. Just praying God that the Liberian see reason to come to you. But Liberians mind, I say somewhere, the nothing will make a change if they are still moving like this. So we pray God, me, I know I've been here about you, that you are covering Mother, myself, even I decided to really go because you know that you are a good president. Your father was a bad president for us before, and he did well. You say to your mark from very light. So I decided, I know that by the grace of God will change.
Thank you.
Come to you one day. One day you'll be the president in the country. We still talking about you, the president will go grandfather. I can tell about you. I can tell people about you. I say how the president is coming one day, we'll get him.
Okay.
People are still on another side.
Thank you very much. The lines are buzzing. Let's talk to this person. Hello, your name and where you join us from?
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you? Let's hear you.
Good morning to Dr. Monuba.
Thank you.
I'm Fasu Kroman.
Oh, Fasu Kroman. Let's hear you.
Yeah, of course, member of the UP.
You're the part of grassroots, right?
Yeah, Intellectual Bureau.
Oh, Intellectual Bureau. Okay, let's hear you.
Yeah, let me say kudos to your internationally recognized guest, man, who cut across. Yeah, somebody who is very passionate, about Liberia. He might is stated, to see Liberia moving forward from all dimensions. So most of the time, he man media platform. I'm somebody who always grew to the radio to listen to him because he comes to the table with bucket full of top-notch analysis.
Okay.
When it comes to national issues, so I'm going to look forward to him working, seeing it fit, to take all position in the government, so he can help the.
The man is not ready for position.
It's because you were not talking when you're getting trouble.
Yeah, we need to find people want to remember. When you criticize, the see government. Thank you very much. Let's talk to this person. Hello, your name and where you join us from? Hello? Okay, well, that's that person. Hello, your name and where you join us from?
Good morning. My name is T.O.P. Willie. I am the Common Board Chairman. I represent Concern Librarian for Justice.
Okay, let's hear you. Concern Librarian for Justice.
Let me have said greetings to the man in studio there, the honorable political leader of, I don't know, the party.
Lamu.
Lamu.
Yeah, Lamu.
Yeah, Mr. Monima. For me, I listened to the deliberation. I got everything he said, but I'm taking a back on few grounds. We are in a kind of dispensation that we're seeing some things going on that we need some critical voices that got us here with some money, man. We need to hear them. And for me, I know, let me be on record.
Yeah, so go straight to the point now.
I've not really heard him. The kind of critical issue of the gang Solomon of a 15-year-old boy, the raping of that 14-year-old girl, and the rampant human rights abuses that is going on in this government. Critical issue happening. We are not hearing their voices. Like they're taking people from their land. People are being taken from their land, and then they are crying. It is time now that authoritative voices like that of his, Mr. Monima, be speaking, but I have not heard him. So, a limit to the question. Let me just ask my question as I leave your line.
Yeah, go.
Mr. Monima, are you an Akala of the government, or are you a regime collaborator, or are you really for the opposition camp? That's my question.
Okay, thank you very much. He's listening and he's going to respond to your question. Just hang up the line. He will respond to your question. Let's talk to this person. Hello, your name and where you join us from?
My name is Sam Tokbaka. We come from this.
Tokba, let's hear you.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Moluba. Thank you for the emergency. Continue your good work. But at the present moment, state, I will have to stay on the omen and support you, to support your art here. Be behind the omen until 2029. Your time will reach. You are young professional guy. Thank you for your opportunity given me this morning.
Thank you very much. Let's talk to this person on this line. Hello, your name and where you join us from? Hello?
Yeah.
Your name and where you join us from?
My name is Toba Flomo, joining from District 3, to be precise.
Toba Flomo, go ahead, please.
All right. Yes, thank you, the studio guest, for I got a few questions for him.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of politicians will overlook a certain government about deadness, but what is he doing for his own contribution to the country or the city cleanliness? One.
Okay.
And two, on the question of Honorable Yege Koiba, I want him to go in the house there and ask the people for their rules, because the people got rules that guarantee them, and when they go against that rule, they can take their action.
Okay, thank you.
And the statement from Yege Koiba, that is choosing and setting our country. So
Thank you very much.
Let's
talk to another person. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thanks for calling. Hello, your name and where you join us from? Hello?
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you? Let's hear you.
I'm CRC Emmanuel Tupachino of the Interlocal Club, Moserata County.
CRC, let's hear you quickly.
Yeah, I want to say good morning to Dr. Modiba. He's one of the politicians that I follow in this country, as young as he is, with a lot of brilliance. But then my question to him, all of these brilliance that he brings to the disco, is it possible that he can achieve these goals or support any other president apart from him becoming a president? Or these dreams that he have, does it only fit in the presidency?
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think you're talking about that later, but he will re-emphasize. Let's talk to this person. Hello.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, my name is Jonathan Joe. Calling from
Jonathan Joe, let's hear you quickly.
Thank you. Good morning, guys. Thank you for your inspirational speech. And all of what you have said, they are all true.
Okay.
What Liberians need is total reform. And this reform cannot be done at the hierarchy. So my own question that I want to ask you, what program are you planning for those that are coming up? Because mind you, if we want to deal with those people in government, those people at the hierarchy, you will imagine somebody will serve in legislature for two terms, they will leave, and they will want to recontest. They will not go into any other or entrepreneurship to develop a mind and also create job opportunity for other people. Only Liberian job.
Thank
so
you.
What do you have on your mind concerning this?
Thank you. We will talk to the last person because we're out of time. Hello, let's hear you. Your name and where you join us from?
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Okay, my name is Lajaped and I call from PV.
Okay.
Okay, so let me say thanks to the studio guest, but I think in his liberation concerning the Guinea Bola, he had a lot of contradiction in his statement.
What are those?
And let me come clear, okay. Let me come clear. Mr. Moruba was not going to be a good president in this country. If Mr. Moruba was a president by now, then we are at war with Guinea. Then we are at war with our neighbor, according to his statement. Because he is saying that democracy, due process,
So I think he said dependent on the information. He said he's not informed actually about what's obtaining. So depending on the information, he would have taken certain actions. Yeah.
If you don't get information onto the certain situation, you don't talk about it. You should not comment on it. But he commented to say if you are president, he's going to solve the problem just as it is.
Thank you.
People waste money and no result. What result do you want? You should be fighting by now.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Dr. Mola, welcome back. You want to respond to some of the comments, some of the questions asked?
With my brother who just talked about if Liberia will be at war by now, and so these are, when we talk about holding people accountable, this is a challenge. This is somebody who is willing, right, not to hold the president and the government accountable. All we are seeing is that there's absolutely no reason why there should have been 2 high-profile delegations going to Guinea, coming back, led by the president, right? Speaker, deputy speaker, everybody go to the Guinea border, come back, and we still don't know what's happening. All we know is that Guinean soldiers are still on the soil of Liberia. So what I'm telling you, when we're going through the diplomatic route cannot contain Guinean soldiers on Liberian soil. Normally in negotiations, and I've taught negotiations around the world, and and this is I've negotiated, I'm proud to say I've negotiated hundreds of millions of dollars on behalf of Liberia. I'm very proud of it. And again, I will continue to say not one single dollar has ever come to me, has ever been asked, and will ever come to me. I've negotiated hundreds of millions of dollars on behalf of Liberia. And in negotiations, right, in this type of situation, immediately everything goes back to status quo. Meaning Guinean soldiers are back in Guinea. So, but when people like that talk, then you empower no action. So, I just wanted to address that. I didn't get the question. Somebody said, what's on my mind concerning, but I didn't try to understand what he was trying to say. And if you all remember it later before, I
think he talked about programs to develop young people. I think that's what he was talking about.
Okay, so the challenge when we talk about developing young people in this country, and we even talk about educating the young people of this country, I always say every other country has done it. Why not Liberia? Germany is a perfect example, and somebody would say, "Oh, you can't compare it to Germany." Let me tell you where Germany was after World War II. Germany was in the exact situation as Liberia after World War II. The entire country was dilapidated and how Germany were looking is how Liberia were looking after the war. What did Germany focus on? Technical and vocational training. Why are the people in Germany now the best technical and vocational people in the world? Is because their entire country decided that they were going to have the best plumbers, carpenters, electricians, because now they had to build their country. What we need to do for the young people of Liberia is focus and triple our budget and our support to early childhood education, which builds the foundation of a young person. And that's why you have people trying to read one sentence and struggling. It's not their fault. It's because they went to schools sitting on dirt floors, no electricity, no library, no books, no nothing. How you expect somebody to learn?
Are you hinting at the AFL recruitment process?
Yeah, at the AFL recruitment, which should never have been filmed, because we have to be ambassadors of our own country. You know how many other countries laughing at us now because of that? Laughing, and then all we can talk about is that don't show that we have 2,000 man army. People will be laughing. 2,000 man army, we can barely read and write. They would take us serious? No. So the idea going back to education and for young people, right? And even with the army, what we should be talking about is an Army Corps of Engineers, 10,000 Army Corps engineers who is in every single district, who is developing the building rules, they're rehabilitating schools and hospitals. You will soon hear that from government saying that they want to do that. Sylvester, because anytime I get ideas, they can take it, which is what I want, right? But the whole idea is when you talk about young people, we should have technical and vocational mandatory.
Okay.
Right. One of our policies is very clear: mandatory technical and vocational training for everybody from high school, sophomore,
junior year, senior year, you should graduate with a high school diploma in one hand. You should be a carpenter, a plumber, electrician, something, a caterer in the other hand. So that's how we empower the young people of this country. And after we do that, we make sure there's money available for them to go and take loans. That's the only way to develop this country.
All right. Yeah, so you just want to be brief with your answers because we are
we are five.
young
Yeah,
time.
yeah. Somebody talked about Yeke Koluba in the fact, again, I support the idea that it was completely political to move him from there. And they have completely lost their way. Their job is to make sure the people's money, the budget is spent appropriately, which is not being done. The job of the executive is to come up with a budget. Who submits it? That's not being done. The budget is the problem in Liberia.
Okay.
That's the only way to put it. The budget is the problem in Liberia. And then somebody asked about the regime collaborator. So I don't even know how to respond to that.
Regime collaborator or opposition collaborator?
Oh, but I am no collaborator for opposition or regime, right? I am speaking my truth. When I come on here, the reason why people listen to me, I don't stutter, I don't check when I'm talking, is because I'm speaking what I believe in. Right? If you like it, fine. If you don't like it, fine. Some people will say, oh, we're not going to vote for you for president. No problem. Because you don't vote for me, I will not die. Right? I will not die if you don't vote for me. So some people that can be telling me, like, go ahead, my soul, it's not going to hurt me, chief. I would die, but it won't be because I'm not president of Liberia. I would die, but it won't be because you didn't vote for me. So the reason why I'm not a regime collaborator, you hear me talking about the wrong that the regime doing, and you say regime collaborator. You also heard me when, Yekesi were talking to me about, the fact that I supported Jonathan Widow when the opposition called me, wanting me to make a statement with them. I don't, listen, I talk my truth. Okay. And if we do that, our country will develop.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Clarence Moliba. It's been a wonderful time having you, and thanks for always consenting to our invite. And we look forward to having more of these conversations. And this time, I'm going to be the one now knocking at your door, saying, "Did you cut the last one of my statement?"
Oh,
yeah. Somebody asked that question.
I mean, that's maybe every time these things happen, maybe wait at the end of the month or 2, 3, and then we call you back. These things are happening. We don't hear you speak. So just
so somebody asked that question.
Yes.
No, and honestly, and that's a legitimate question, and so that's why I need to do a better job engaging the media, talking about But yeah, the country is not, the country, we should be a lot further than where we are, and we are not. And so, there's so much work to be done, but that's why when I speak to people, when I go around the world, when I go around Liberia and I talk to people, the change starts with the person that you see when you look in the mirror. That's the only thing I continue to say, right? If you want a clean country, clean your home, clean your community. Somebody talked about what are you doing to clean the country, right? Mm-hmm. The whole idea is that the change starts from me. Go to my house. Go to, clean your house. If you want a clean home, clean your community, clean your home. If you want to educate a country, educate yourself. And so we have to start to become the change that we want to see in our country, and then we'll see the Liberia that we want.
Thank you very much. It's been a wonderful time having you, Dr. Clarence Moliba. Hope to have you more and more in the game, on this platform. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right, so folks, that's all the time we have to be here on this edition of the Today Show. Thanks for your listening role. Those of you who view the show, would like to appreciate you for following on behalf of the entire production team here. My name is Yekezi Zobel, and of course, I've been sitting alongside Sylvester Wood. Sylvester, anything before taking leave?
Yeah, I know tomorrow we'll be here with another fascinating and very captivating talking points here on issues that matter to this country. We hope we as Liberians can work together and make Liberia a better place.
Well, thank you very much, and catch you up tomorrow. Bye-bye.